Hi guys, my name is Jeff. I'm going to be talking to you guys for a little bit about a package that I found called RColorBrewer. And just very briefly to start, it's based upon the colorbrewer2.org website. It helps you, as it says up here, it's colorized photography. I've got it pulled up here. So really what you can do is you can select your number of data classes, and then you can talk about the nature of your data. So we're looking at sequential data, there's a bunch of color scheme options, divergent data, or qualitative data, there's color scheme options. Now, this is originally built for cartography, right? So you can change a lot of stuff. You can get rid of roads, cities, borders. This is how I tend to use it because I don't use a lot of mapping data in what I do. But it helps you get a sense of what colors are going to look like together. So let's say I want 12. I've got 12 different classes of data. This is what it would look like with these only two color schemes that they've got built as an option. Now, as you can see, we can export all of this stuff, and R will take these hex data, these hex codes rather, but that's not really going to be that great for what we want to be able to do because I don't want to type that much. Same with RGB or CMYK, depending on whatever program you're looking for. There's no easy export button for this. There's an easy export button, but what we're going to use is we're going to use the ColorBrewer 2.0 palette package, in R. Let's go over to RStudio. So the package name is RColorBrewer, capital R, capital C, capital B. I've got it installed already, so I'm just going to call it to my library, and I'm going to look at the help for it. So as it says, create nice looking color palettes. Here's the 4 functions that are included in it. Brewer.pal, display brewer.pal, display brewer.all, and brewer.pal.info. So let's start with that last one, brewer.pal.info, because all it does is it just lists all of your colors in a table in the palette, or in the console, excuse me. As you can see, here's the names of them, the number of maximum colors you can include, although we can stretch this, which we'll talk about later, that category, divergent, qualitative, or sequential, and then whether or not it's colorblind friendly. Display brewer all puts them all into a plot. So you can see here they're all listed. A little bit hard to read, a little hard to tell kind of what's going on here, but for example, over here we've got set 1, 2, 3. I don't really know what those mean. I just know that I can see 9, 8, or 12 of them. They're qualitative. Well, here's what they actually look like, right? And I can see that set 2 is the only one that has enough contrast that color it would be good for colorblind friendly personnel. So we can also alter whatever we want to see. So if I just want to look at my sequential palettes, I can just do type equals sequential. Same for divergent, same for qualitative. I can also look at just colorblind friendly palettes as well by just doing colorblind friendly equals true. Now here's all the ones that are just colorblind friendly. Let's say that I know I've got 4 classes of data, I know it's divergent data, and I know I want to be designing for color vision deficiencies. I can just do display brewer all for type div colorblind friendly equals true, and here you go. Here are my options. I can pick from any of these 6. Let's say that I no longer care about it being divergent. Now here I've got a lot more options, right? I've got my divergent ones down here. I've got my qualitative ones here, and I've got my sequential ones up here. Let's say I've got 9 classes of data. I just want to look at my divergent ones. Again, here's those same 6 that we saw before, but they've got more classes in them, right? So you can kind of easily see, okay, what one is really going to be what I want. If you change your colorblind friendly flag to false, you're not going to get the stuff that isn't colorblind friendly. You're going to get both the colorblind friendly and the non-colorblind friendly palettes. You can also select just a certain number of them, right? I've got set 1, 2, 3. If I just want to look at them, I just type in select equals set 1, 2, 3. So display brewer all is really good when you're trying to design your visualization, trying to figure out what your colors are going to look like, not having to have R generate the chart every single time, especially if your chart, for whatever reason, it takes a while to populate. Alright, so with display brewer all, there's a number of different arguments you make to the function. However you can see that. And we set a specific number. I just want to look at 4. We can look at our specific types. We can select a specific color palette. We can tell whether we want it to return only palettes that have that exact N. And we can choose whether or not we want to show colorblind friendly palettes. As you can see, if I've got a specific palette name selected here, then some of these aren't really, the type doesn't matter anymore because I'm just showing that palette. So I'm going to look at this and it's going to tell me, okay, BRBG. Another function, if I just wanted to look at, the 4 with the BRBG palette, I know I'm visualizing some kind of land data maybe, right? This is arid, this is moist. I can look at just display.brewer.pal instead of .all. I want 4, I want BRBG. And there you go. It's the same thing as before, and it's just got the thing down at the bottom. If I want to look at, say I want to look at 9 with the red, yellow, blue, same thing, again, another divergent palette, and there it is. So I'm going to visualize some data just to show you guys kind of how we can actually use this package in our plots. So we're going to go ahead and add sports analytics to the library. Let's go ahead and take a look at the data that's available there. There's 4 different data sets in here. We're going to focus on the Bundesliga final standings data set. So I'm going to add it into my environment. Look at the top of it. Okay, it looks like we're going to go from 1990 all the way down to 2009, 2010. So just look at the summary just to verify. Yep, looks like there's 20 different variations of the seasons here. I can tell that just because of that position value. There's 20 people who finished, 20 teams that finished it first. I'm going to include the tidyverse, so I can use dplyr, and then I can include ggplot. Again, I've already installed this just for the sake of time. I'm going to filter down just the top 6 teams at the end of 2010. Yep, there they are. I'm going to build you a pie of the default colors. The point scored is how teams are ranked in European soccer tables, not wins or losses or draws. So here you go. The first place team, Bayern Munich, had 72 points, right? A lot bigger than the 53. Or sorry, had 70 points, a lot bigger than the 65 that the second place team had. These are the colors that R will provide you on with default. We're going to use this call equals brewer.pal. Brewer.pal is another function in the RColorBrewer package. It allows us to call, I want 6 classes here, and I want to use the accent package. Accent, if you remember, is one of our qualitative packages, or qualitative palettes that we have an option to use. And there it is. A little bit more color, a little bit more vibrant. So I'm just going to filter down to the 6. I'm going to build a couple of data sets here that we're going to use for our other charts. The first one is just the teams that have been in the Bundesliga for 6 years. The second one is just Borussia Dortmund. So what do we have too many colors, record sound of colors in our palette? If you remember, the greens palette only gives us 9 options. So when I do that, I put it in here, and it just repeats the color, as you can see. Now it's not, could be great thing what you're looking for. It's not what I'm looking for. So I'm going to use the color ramp palette function. It's a function that's not included in that. It's just part of R. And so I include the color name here, which is our brewer.pal function. I want 9, I want greens, and then I wanted 20 versions of it. So I hit enter, and there you go. And you can see it took the key values and kind of extrapolated colors in between to fill up our palettes. If you remember, we had that BRBG palette before. If I give it 9 to look at, and I want to return 20 different values from the color ramp palette, again, you can see that it kind of flows through and gives you a nice visual. Again, if you were looking for this. This is just a box plot of goals scored for just those 6 teams that have been there the entire time. Shows you an outliers, all that kind of jazz. And we can also use ColorBrewer palettes in ggplot. They're actually built into ggplot. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at, I'm going to build a scatter plot here of goals scored vice goals against. And so the function that we're going to use is this scale color brewer. And all we have to do here is just say palette equals set 3, because we're coloring it based on team here that we've argued up here. You can see this is our set 3 palette that we've used a little bit before. And there it is. Each, hamburger SV is these red dots here. Okay, the last thing I'm going to show you guys is the scale fill brewer function. We're going to build a bar chart, just goals by season, and then we're going to go ahead and color it by the position that they were in. So I'll pop up here, and you can see that we've colored it by position using the scale fill brewer. We're using the palette set 3. Again, just to show you kind of what it looks like. This probably isn't the right way to do it. I'd maybe do this diverging red-green, right? With green being the best when you finish the top. You can see because we're using scale fill brewer and we're coloring it based on the team, or based on that position, right here, fill equals position. It gives it, this little tealish color is when they finish first, and you can see when they finished down all the way down to 13th in 2007, 2008, they actually scored more goals when they finished in 9th. So that's all I have to say about the RColorBrewer palette, guys. I hope you learned a little bit something here about using the palette, about how to use the RColorBrewer package to pick palettes, and then how to use those palettes within either ggplot, or if you're just building your own charts outside of ggplot using like the box plot or the pie functions. Thanks. Have a great day.